Hi, I'm Nate Yando from Duke's Fitness Center, where your health matters. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about walking and running progressions and some healthy tips along the way. So we're going to cover the most important 7 tips that will help you get ready for your fundraiser walkathons or races that are coming up, or just if you want to get active and healthy. All right, I look forward to working with you. Please feel free to ask questions along the way. I'd be happy to answer through social media or with a phone call, email, whatever works best for you. All right, let's get started. Tip number 1, clothing and footwear. We want to make sure that you are best prepared for what your activity is, so you want to make sure you're dressed for the game. Keeping in mind, we want breathable clothing, lightweight, something that's comfortable. Obviously keeping the weather in mind if you are outside or if you're inside, just paying attention to what's more breathable and more comfortable for you. Shorts or pants are fine. Again, just making sure if you're someone that overheats like myself, I try to go with shorts. Again, when I'm working out, I try to go tanks or cutoffs just to get my body best able to breathe. So that's an important piece with that side of it on the clothing. And as far as footwear, obviously, your foundation is the most important part. You're stepping, you're putting your body weight into each step. We want to make sure that you have good support with your sneakers or running shoes or walking shoes. Now, some people say, well, I've got a great pair of walking shoes that are 5 years old, 4 years old. You want to make sure, obviously, if you haven't used them much, then that's one thing, but really you want to make sure if you're, depending on how active you are, every 3 to 6 months, if you're fairly active, you want to be replacing those shoes. And if you have a new pair, if you're like getting started, don't go out there and run or go long distance right away. You got to break those things in, but again, you don't want them too broken where the arches are falling and it's going to cause more harm than good in the knees, back, shoulders. You'd be amazed at how important it is for your whole posture and spine health when it comes to that foot support. Now that we've got you dressed for the occasion, we want to make sure that you're focusing on the importance of preparing what you do with your body beforehand. So if I'm looking to go out for my first run or walk that I haven't been on in a while, we don't want to just say, how fast can I go? How hard can I go? How much can I do right away? We want to make sure we're warming things up. Okay, so that means maybe a slower pace, listening to the body, focusing on the breathing a little bit, nice deep breath, being aware of your surroundings, make sure everything is safe for your ability to walk, or if you're outside, again, being aware of curbs and different elevation changes is really important. Those things are great to actually help your stability and your stabilizing muscles in general. But again, making sure that you are getting yourself warm. We want to walk before we run, as they say. So really, depending on what level you're at, work on the progression. The other piece is just to make sure that you're actually pre-hydrated and making sure that you're not eating right beforehand. We want to make sure that we have digested whatever we've taken in. So giving yourself an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much and what you've taken in for nutrition, as well as making sure you're hydrated. Water, sometimes electrolytes, depending again on how intense you're going to be getting for your duration. All right, tip number 3, we want to think about our posture, form, and our stride. So being aware of our body and how it's moving is really important. We want to make sure that even though we think about our legs being the prime mover and prime focus when we're walking or running, we really need to focus on keeping the airway open as well as keeping the other supporting muscles in the spine engaged. We can cause a lot of back pain or discomfort in the other joints if we're just kind of moving loosely and not really focusing on our posture. And that's true with anything. If we've got a desk job, obviously we want to make sure we're moving a little bit between taking breaks and getting that mobility. That's just good health in general. So when we think about our posture, we want to be nice and tall. We want to make sure our stride is at a comfortable length and that we're engaging the muscles as you're propelling yourself forward. So think about chest up, shoulders back, and then as far as a stride, whether we're walking or jogging, using our arms and in a front to back motion is key here. Oftentimes we get in the habit of going side to side. That's a waste of energy. Sometimes we really tighten up the fist when we're pushing ourselves or maybe anxious about something. We want to relax the hands. We want the energy to go through our core and through our legs. But again, we want to use all the benefit we can from getting that stride in the right direction. Deep breaths. In the beginning, you're going to feel uncomfortable for getting that oxygen level up there. So again, you're going from not moving to moving. That's where that progression comes in. But again, allowing yourself to embrace that deep breath will really help you out. All right, tip number 4. This one comes down to the mental game. We want to think about how are you approaching this? If we're dreading it, if we're maybe had somebody else offer to do something with us and we're just kind of going through the motions, it's going to be a battle. You know, it's perspective is so important. So we want to make sure no matter what level you're at with this, that we are giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt and really embracing this, realizing how much better your life gets when you're a little bit healthier. Now, there's more to getting healthier than just walking and running. Again, there's importance of getting our proper rest. There's importance of getting hydration and nutrition. There's importance of stretching and strength training, all those other things. We'll talk about that later. But again, our mental game is important. So really wrap your mind around what's going to give me the best opportunity. Where's my support system? What is my level of fitness and where am I going? Don't compare yourself to anybody else. That's one of the biggest problems we have with our health goals is we're always looking at somebody else that's better than us. And that's great if you're kind of dangling the carrot in front of you, but it's not great if all of a sudden you're saying, they're better than me. I can't get there. I'm always a step behind. That's not going to help you. The other thing is we can tune in, even though we may want to be connecting with nature if we're outside and doing things, that's great as well. But think about different options and see what works better for you, or maybe you want to switch things up if you get mundane workouts and it's the same thing over and over. There's great pep talks that you can listen to on audio, listen to an audio book, or actually make a fun playlist that you may end up pushing yourself a little bit harder. Again, keep it in mind as far as the progression goes, but those are some great opportunities to really either learn more as you exercise, which studies have shown will actually, when your heart rate's up, you're going to actually retain more of that knowledge, or again, just having fun with it and making it playful with a fun playlist and making sure it's about you and nobody else. Tip number 5, progress with a plan. Okay, so things do not always go as planned, but if you don't have a plan, sometimes that can be more problematic than anything. Again, we just talked about making sure you're not comparing yourself to others. So again, don't think that what someone else does is always going to work for you. Take it in consideration if they are an expert in their field or someone that is active, an active walker or runner, but make sure you're doing something that can help you progress the right way. So first of all, don't judge it. Be aware, set up your plan. Now, if you're just starting out, I would recommend 2 to 3 days a week the first week or two. So you may schedule it as specific as possible. So whether it's on your lunch break, getting 15 minutes of a walk or jog in, or maybe after work, maybe after dinner, maybe as the sun's coming up, decide what's going to work best for you and your schedule. Again, if we can always come up with excuses about why we can't do something, but again, getting that plan, this is something that matters to you, this is something that you may feel is going to take you to the next level for your health and help you experience more, that's a win. So get that plan scheduled and make sure that you're giving yourself some honest feedback or taking in some honest feedback about, well, is this too much for me? Am I sore constantly? Am I feeling a little bit of soreness? That's going to happen for sure, but we want to make sure that we're not causing injury. A little bit of discomfort in the muscles, allowing them to stretch afterwards, allowing some repair time between, good rest and nutrition, those will help the recovery piece as well. Get the plan set, get yourself some feedback, and adjust as needed. Tip number 6, we need nutrition and we need hydration. How we fuel our body makes a world of difference of how it performs. You may find different things work better for you than others, but we talked about a little bit earlier about the timing of our food intake. Hydration throughout the day is important. Sometimes the end of the day may be tougher to do. We don't want to be getting up all night going to the bathroom. that's going to work against our rest, right? So we need to make sure that we're listening to the body and tweaking things ahead of time. Always having a water bottle with you. And again, electrolytes you can add to your waters. Sometimes just doing something natural with like a squeeze of lemon or lime with a little bit of pink salt, Himalayan sea salt. Those are great ways to do a little bit of that extra electrolyte balance. Again, depending on how hot it is, where you're at, keep in mind, when we lose water, we need to replace it. Those electrolytes come out of balance and it can really throw us off. Your nutrition, eating what feels right for you, generally focusing on healthy fats and proteins are going to be your number one. And then oftentimes we tend to get too many carbohydrates, but we want to make sure when we are getting carbohydrates that they are quality. So think real food first. There's a lot of great options if you have local farmers markets and local grocery stores that have good sources of these options. When it comes to healthy proteins, think grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, free-range eggs. Those are great sources of energy. We want to make sure we're listening to our body, make adjustments along the way, and again, ask questions. Nutrition is my jam, so I'm all ears when it comes to what you need, and we can always tweak things. Not everybody's built the same, not everybody needs to fuel the same, but there are some common threads that will really work for your benefit and help you be strong with your movement and help you recover and feel good. Tip number 7. Stretching is a really important piece of the puzzle. Now, we don't always need to stretch in the beginning of our exercise unless things are feeling really sore. So when you do your warm-up, when you're slowly acclimating your body to the deeper breathing and the faster movement, you can get a feel for, okay, what's sore? If there is something sore, take a moment to just loosen things up, stretch things out that do feel tight. We can go through stretches again. Q&A, we'd be happy to show you some things that may be geared right towards those muscles that you feel are tight. Foam rolling is a great way to do that as well for recovery. But again, those things are primarily done after the activity. That's when your muscles are warm, and that's the best time to help them recover. That stretching and that foam rolling, getting into those muscles and knots that you may have are really primed right after the activity. The blood is flowing, and it's going to help them be more pliable at that point. The other thing is think about your cross training. So aside from that stretching and recovery time with the rolling, we need to think about maybe stability muscles. So working on balance, single leg exercises, maybe some single leg movements, maybe some tap to the floor, to the ground on single leg. Those things can really get those stabilizer muscles working, as well as strength training. You want to be a strong walker or runner. We don't want to be throwing the body, and we don't want to feel just like we're burning calories without getting strong. Running, walking, that will help your muscles to some degree, but you really need to make sure that we're getting that diversity of overall functional fitness. And whether you're at a very entry level of just wanting to be able to complete a 5K, whether it's a walk or a jog, or at a point where you feel like, I just want to start moving and not really worry about too much too soon. Don't overwhelm yourself, but realize that's a step in the right direction. When you're ready to make that change, you need to get your body strong. It's going to help your bones. It's going to help your stability. You're going to feel better moving. You're going to feel better walking and running. I hope these tips have been helpful for you. Please feel free to ask questions along the way. And again, perspective is everything. Make sure that mind game is in the right place. Use a support system around you and have fun with the process. Thank you so much. I'm Nate from Duke's Fitness Center, where your health matters. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.